What's up, peeps? Julian Williams here at The Distance. Got video for you guys this evening. This is going to be a prediction for Nonito Donaire versus Guillermo Rigondeaux. Bout takes place next week on April the 13th on HBO. Puts together Guillermo Rigondeaux and Nonito Donaire. Two, two of the best boxers in the world, clashing. On paper, this is a great fight. But there's a possibility. There could be a possibility that this fight might be a dud. That comes with every fight. But my expectation of this fight is it's gonna be a good fight. It's a good fight for both fighters because they're just polar opposites. Their styles are just polar opposites of each other. Guillermo Rigondeaux is one of the greatest amateur boxers of all time. Hands down, one of the greatest. And and when you use the term great, of course, it could be used loosely because somebody else, might have an opinion on who the greatest amateur fighter of all time is. Some people will say Mark Breland. Some people will say Teofilo Stevenson or Felix Savon or things of that nature. You're entitled to your own opinion on who you think is the greatest amateur fighter of all time. Of course, like I said, that's very subjective, and subjectivity comes with the sport of boxing. But Guillermo Rigondeaux has faced multiple different styles as an amateur. He's a very calm, relaxed, composed fighter, and he's just amazing in the ring. What he does well, he does great. He's a great counterpuncher. He's a great body puncher. He does a great job of setting up his shots. Whether he's using his jab, whether he's using his legs, he has a wide stance and it helps with his elusiveness. And he also uses the ring. He also sets traps. So I'm like, he's very complacent in the ring. He's very complacent. Like I said, he times his shots well. He sets his shots up well, and just overall, it's he knows how to land in the perfect spot. He knows how to land in the perfect spot, and he knows how to kind of find those pressure points in the ring to where he can land these difficult shots. In this fight against Nonito Donaire, Rigondeaux has to go to the body early. Donaire comes to every fight in great shape. He's in great shape. He's always training. Donaire also has good hand speed as well. Rigondeaux has to come into this fight. He has to attack. He can't wait for Donaire. He's gonna have to kind of. And there are fights where Rigondeaux comes out and he's not waiting for another fighter. He'll come out and he'll attack if he has to. This fight, I wouldn't stand in the pocket with. I wouldn't just wait and stand in the pocket with Donaire. I would actually come. I would come off my lead foot and I would come forward and jab up top, use it as a measuring stick, and try to get some straight lefts to the body. Also try to keep that lead foot. He needs to try to keep his lead foot on the outside because Donaire does a very good job no matter who he's fighting, southpaw or orthodox fighter, conventional stance fighter. That lead foot's always on the outside, always. So in this one, I think that Rigondeaux has to try to kind of cut off the ring, and look to land straight lefts to the body. He has to land straight lefts to the body early. He has to hurt him to the body early, and then create some shots up top. He has to feint with the southpaw jab and to kind of loop around with that looping right hook. And then also look for the uppercut as well. I wouldn't look for it. I definitely would not look for the uppercut early. I would look for it later in the fight when he's warmed up, relaxed, and comfortable. I would look for that left uppercut on the inside. And also, another thing that Rigondeaux does well is he does conserve his shots. He won't pull off. He very rarely pulls off a big 5-punch combination. He throws when he sees the opening, but I think that using feints, using subtle body movements, can create his shots. Being that Donaire is a fighter, he fights on the move. He's and fights a bit off of impulse as well. Very offensive minded. So in this fight, I think Rigondeaux has to be very defensive minded. He has to be smart. He has to be. I would fight with a little more urgency. I wouldn't. I wouldn't. I wouldn't go in and be inactive for a couple rounds. I would try to go in and try to catch him a few times in the chin, excuse me, and I would not try to steal rounds from him. I would work, look to have that knockout come to me. That's how I would fight Nonito Donaire. On the other hand, you have Nonito Donaire, another fighter who's very good, very skilled, quick on his feet, quick with his hands, and has great timing on his shots. He throws a very good pull counter right hand. He throws it, he throws it sparingly, but he throws a very nice pull counter overhand right. Sometimes sometimes he kind of drops his left hand. He drops it and kind of telegraphs it from time to time, but he throws it very well. He can throw it very automatically. Excuse me, not automatically, but systematically. In this fight against Rigondeaux, one thing I would definitely do against Rigondeaux is I would throw a lot of punches at volume. I would move a lot. I would utilize a lot of lateral movement and have him come after me and throw combinations, tie up, step back and throw more combinations. He has to keep Rigondeaux on the move. He's not going to land every shot. He's definitely not going to land every shot, but I would keep busy letting my hands go. I would probably try to get him to the body a few times early and try to make Rigondeaux hold me. So it makes it look like Donaire is controlling the pace of the fight. Donaire has to dictate the pace using his lateral movement, quick hand speed, and getting them in spurts, kind of the Sugar Ray Leonard method. But I wouldn't just wait for like the beginning and end of the round to try to steal it, because of course, judges are going to score the fight differently. But I would fight a very fast paced fight, because on the other hand, Rigondeaux is very calm and relaxed. I would keep it a fast paced fight where I'm keeping Rigondeaux on the move. I'm consistently making them try to evade shots. I would set everything up off the jab. He's quick enough to lead with the hook, but I don't think he should lead with the hook in this one because he's facing a very well-rounded opponent. So I wouldn't really do too many lead hooks. I would do it very sparingly, because I think that with a fighter like Rigondeaux, if you do something one or two times on him, he's gonna catch on to it. So I would lead very sparingly. Another thing I would do is, one thing I would do for if I was Donaire, actually I would try to come forward, and I would try to see if I can exchange with him. See if he's willing to make any exchanges, kind of test the waters a little bit to see what kind of temperature he's running for this fight. So with this fight, with everything being said, I'm not sure who's going to win. I'm not confident in this prediction. Rigondeaux is one of my absolute favorite boxers today. Donaire is one of my absolute favorite boxers today. From a skill standpoint, from skill and experience, Rigondeaux, has faced quality opposition over the years as a Cuban amateur fighter. He's faced different opposition in the pros as well. But on the other hand, Nonito Donaire has faced guys that are at an elite level. So when you're trying to balance everything out, it's very hard to determine the winner. Both of them have a bright future in the sport, if you ask me. And I'm about to stop bullshitting. I'm going to give you who I think is going to win the fight. and I might be one of the few that picks this. I like being the minority, no pun intended. I'm gonna go with Guillermo Rigondeaux getting a very close split decision in this one. I think that Rigondeaux is going to do a good job timing and setting up his shots against Donaire. Donaire does have a couple defensive gaffes, but I think that Rigondeaux, I'm going to go with Rigondeaux to win this fight. So anyway, peeps, I'm out of here. That was the distance. Thanks for watching. Peace.